So back to the heroin.
And cue.
And the heroin.
And if you didn't know,
Needles.
I'm sober too, guys. I'm a sober guy here.
Needles, heroin, you're on.
Did heroin, doesn't do heroin. And here we go.
And if you need help, call me.
Hey, how do you get into shooting dope? I mean, I know it's obvious. Like, did you start with Vicodin and you went to Oxy and then you're like, fuck, it's just cheaper to get heroin? Or like, what's the psychology? Because not a lot of people, but not a lot of people decide to inject in their vein. Like, what was that decision like the first time injecting into your veins?
So no, I didn't start with the pills. It kind of went from the herb to the blow to I did Grateful Dead tour for a little bit. And I did
what year?
96, 95, 94.
Well, Jerry died in 95.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to be because I was supposed to be at the last show they played Unbroken Chain at Charlotte Coliseum, which is where I got arrested, so I didn't get to see him play the song. So definitely 95 because I was at that show, and before. My reference of years is fucked, but that was the first time I was arrested at 17, and in Mecklenburg, I ended up going to Mecklenburg State Penitentiary because you're an adult at 17 from the fucking Grateful Dead show. But point being is when I got into Dead Tour, I got into it for selling drugs and like making good money, not really for the music.
Me too, man. I went to every single show on the East Coast 94 tour of the Grateful Dead.
What kind of drugs were you guys
selling? I think I got
selling?
on probably maybe then, but a little right after. So I might have just missed you.
I mean, dude, I would show up to the show like with my car on fumes, you know?
Yeah.
I had this used car. It'd be on fumes, and I would like go like do a backflip for like, like a buck or something. I'd do like 5 backflips for $1, and then I'd be like, okay, cool, like I've got $5. And then I would like, for $5, I would go to a Deadhead and get like 3 hits of acid.
Yeah.
And then I would take each hit of acid and go sell them for $5. Now I've got $15. And then I would take that $15 and go buy like an 1/8 of weed.
That's it.
And then like once I had the 1/8 of weed, I would sell that for like fucking $30. And then now I got $30 and I go and fucking buy a bag of mushrooms.
It's just a constant come up. So I was riding for Pal at the time, and I would go and I'd have boxes of boards, and I'm just selling boards on the lot, trading them for tickets, you name it.
Yeah.
And
so you're a fan of Grateful Dead music?
yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I've noticed
Yeah.
that I listen to it more now with my age. I'm just kind of at that point in my
Scott
life.
and I are big.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
I've kind of come back. I missed the whole Fish era. That didn't really do it for me because I did Dead Tour, so it was like, not my. But anyway, so I meet up with this guy out of San Francisco who lays grams of acid, lays crystal grams. So we're getting like 20 10-packs at a time books.
10 packs of sheets of blotter acid.
So it's
that's
1,000
like
hits.
like a sheet has 100 hits.
So there's 1,000 in a book.
Oh, okay.
So I'm getting like, this guy's coming with the raw gram and he's actually laying it in a hotel, and me and a couple other dead, we go in and I get this paper one night, and the guy who's going to buy a few books doesn't have all the cash, but he has some heroin.
How much would a book be?
For me, at that level where I was getting it right from the guy laying the grams, like $300-400.
And then how much can you make off that?
For 1,000
For
hits.
1,000 hits. And this is back in 95.
1,000 hits, so at $5 a hit, that's 5,000. So you're more than 10 times in your money.
Easily. But I wasn't doing it in that. I was still selling it in books for like 800 and still doing great. Because we had so much.
If you get caught with a book,
It's
you
called-
are
I mean, dude, if you get caught with
attempting to
3
over-
hit.
They charge you with attempting to overthrow the government with that.
I mean, dude, they're
Really?
like the
Yeah, it's
Grateful
gnarly.
Dead tour. There are still people in prison from the Grateful Dead tour was just a fucking left a just in its wake just people in prison for decades.
Yeah, it was gnarly.
How do you know that? Your documentary?
I don't know if it was a documentary, but
Or just friends I know.
It's facts.
It's fucking
It's
facts. I mean, dude,
widely
like,
known.
I didn't hear about overthrowing the government, but I know that like a lot of acid. If you've got LSD, that's a fucking heavy crime.
It's
dude.
serious.
How long do you go to jail for if you get caught overthrowing the government?
I don't know why
treason,
acid's
bro.
overthrowing the government, but
Huh?
Is it because it's
You get
like
beheaded.
It's like you can brainwash people or something like
I don't
that?
know.
But we still didn't get to the heroin.
Yeah.
So I sold this guy. So back to the heroin.
And cue.
And the heroin.
And if you didn't know,
Needles.
I'm sober too, guys. I'm a sober guy here.
Needles, heroin, you're on.
Did heroin, doesn't do heroin. And here we go.
And if you need help, call me.
So you're buying books of acid.
Yeah, we have a guy flying in from San Francisco who's laying raw grams, and that leaves us with lots of books. And one night, this guy was short on the cash, so he gave us some heroin. And I was like, cool, whatever. Paid no mind to it.
What kind of heroin? Tar?
No,
White,
China white?
Yeah.
He flew in from San Francisco. We were in Baltimore, so it was like just white raw dope, not like the West Coast Chiba tar. And I just put it in my sock drawer, like totally didn't think about it, forgot about it. A few days later, we're catching the Greyhound bus to, I forget what show it was. We were jumping back on tour. And my buddy's like, you got the dope. And I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. So in my mother's bedroom at my mother's house at just turned 17.
How much dope was it?
It was like $200 worth.
Okay, so what's that? Like
Like
grams, 8 ball?
maybe like a gram. It was raw heroin, so you don't get a lot there. But we did it, and I
You snorted it.
Snorted it, and instantaneously threw up. So that continued on. But how I went from that to shooting it was...
Well, because snorting, it's just fucking wasteful.
What,
Yeah.
did you like it when you started it?
Yeah, I loved it. But you build a tolerance,
Yeah.
right? And you need more, and you got to spend more to get that same high.
And so, like, everybody does heroin for their first time. They're like, I would never shoot up.
Totally.
But then you're snorting it or smoking it, and, like, you develop a tolerance. It's not getting you, and you're like, fuck, man. Like, I love heroin, and I just, like, I can't not shoot up because it's just not economical, and I want to actually get that feeling stronger.
And then someone like me comes along and says, dude, if you fucking shoot up like a half of a dime bag, you'll be just as high as sniffing that 300. And you know what I mean? And so all of a sudden, shooting up is not so taboo anymore.
Did you ever shoot anybody up for their very first time?
No, I wasn't good at. I could do me, but
But
I wasn't
how do
like
you learn how to shoot up? Like, I know a buddy of mine who was in there and watched a YouTube video.
That's fucking advanced. Like I didn't do that.
Dude,
I would give someone a little bit.
Can you look up on YouTube how to shoot up heroin and see
Sure.
up a video of fucking Bob's?
That's
Or
insane.
how to like use a needle, you
Yeah.
know?
How to...
But who teaches you that?
So I would give somebody a little bit to do it for me at first.
What a pussy.
And then,
I'm just
absolutely.
kidding.
And then after I got tired of giving it to him, I learned real quick.
Somebody, I mean, dude, you're a piece of shit if you shoot somebody up for their first time.
Yeah, but I mean, you are, but you're already so disconnected from reality that like, why would that not make sense?
I guess you're maybe
there's no ethics and morals involved of like when you're smacked up.
At that point in time.
Were you ever in a situation where someone OD'd and just everyone's like, let's dip? Or like throw them in a dumpster?
No, that's
Jesus.
fucking callous. Even at that point, I don't know if I would. It happens.
Right, it happens all the time.
Nah, I like to think of myself as a fucking junkie with morals. Like I actually was like I think a good person.
Here, hold on to this 100 for me.
Yeah, I would steal that. But I wouldn't let you die. Fuck.
Right, did you find anything? Oh my god.
yeah.
So this video is safer heroin injecting. How to do it the safest way possible. He was like washing his hands at the beginning.
There you go.
That's
And showing you how to
a
do
man
it.
after my own heart.
722,000 views.
722,000
And how long?
views.
What? How long is the video? 3 minutes.
You know, okay. Yeah. How many months has it been out or how
Oh,
many
I'm
years?
sorry. It's 8 years. It's
Oh,
been out.
700.
So maybe it's the video your buddy saw.
It could be.
Wow.
They were doing it
dude.
safely.
But so when you're shooting up, like, what do you're flicking it to get the bubbles out because you'll die if a bubble gets into your veins?
They would say that an air bubble could create something in your veins. You know, I just did it because that's just what I saw other people doing.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to I wasn't reinventing the wheel here.
And the first time you get shot up with it, you're just like, oh dear God.
So the first time I got shot up with, though, was not that way, right? So I'm sniffing it, and then my girlfriend at the time, we're driving through this reservoir, and she nods out, and my head, and gets to a car accident, and my head goes through the windshield, right? So I'm in the hospital, and they have me with all these IVs, and a guy brings me heroin to the room, and he just puts it right into the IV that then goes in my arm. So
Did he have to cook it on a spoon?
Yeah.
In the
dumping it
hospital room?
Totally in the hospital room, and then that was my first, way of injecting it.
that's pretty
Oh, wow.
epic.
And you like it?
I loved it. So do you know when in the
That's
hood,
so
like
gnarly.
when addicts get really bad and they kind of blow out of their veins and they have to go to the hospital and the hospital puts an IV in? they'll leave with the IV just because they have a direct main line.
Yeah.
Because they can't hit it on their own.
Holy moly.
Right, you don't want to close that door if it's open. Yeah.
So they'll like legit go there to get them to run an IV on you for whatever they say they need or however they can make it happen, and then walk out of the hospital with a fucking IV bag.
How long is that good for? How long can you keep it?
I don't know.
Until it falls out?
Yeah, I'm sure they're
Until
not too
it's an
worried.
abscess. Did you ever have abscesses?
I never had an abscess.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for watching that clip. And if you live in America, there's a good chance that this big badass tour bus is coming to your town with my bucket list tour. What is it? Well, it's an X-rated show full of all the stuff that I would have never have been allowed to do for Jackass. And a lot of it is flagrantly illegal, so it's adults only. And if you live in any of these states, then you better go to stevo.com and check out my tour schedule. Hurry up and get your tickets too, because it's selling out everywhere. Yeah, dude. Woo! Yeah, dude.